I've had some requests, particularly by one very important person, to talk about what's in my rucksack and how I pack for a multi-day hike. So what follows is a very quick what's in my rucksack video. Here it all is laid out. So let's see what it is and how it fits into my rucksack. So the first thing is my sleeping bag, which is a Rad 900. It's quite a warm bag. I used to have a lighter, older one, but this has been great. I got it about 3 years ago, and these days I tend to take it out in most seasons. In the summer I just take fewer sleeping clothes and use it as a quilt, but it's been fantastic in freezing and below freezing conditions too. So it's quite big, but it fits quite well into a surprisingly small stuff sack. No problems at all. That is then followed by my Lanshan Pro tent. This is a very light tent. It's under 1 kilogram in weight. You need a walking pole to hold it up, but it gives you space to sit up in, and which I really like. And to be honest, I sometimes take it without its inner, which can be a bit droopy and can take a while to dry. So quite often I use it as a tarp, as a nicely shaped tarp with a ground mat, and that's even lighter. So that goes in next. Next in goes a Thermarest. This is just the standard Thermarest Neo Air full length. Not the most expensive or lightest, but very sturdy. Has never let me down. In it goes. So the next thing to go in are my waterproofs. These are budget waterproofs, and I'm making no claims to them keeping me dry in all conditions. They're an outer layer. I just accept that in really bad conditions, either I'll make a choice not to go out, or I'll accept that I will just get a bit wet in my walking clothes. But they're what my budget runs to, and they have certain advantages. So just some light Pacamac waterproof trousers. I wear them against rain, but also in the mornings and evenings sometimes when I'm setting up or taking down camp, and I've even worn them in my sleeping bag on very, very cold nights just to keep the warmth in. So they're good. And just a Mountain Warehouse coat. Definitely not top of the range. It's pretty good in, a bit of rain, but has the advantage of being very light, small in volume, and just a good windproof outer layer. So those are the waterproofs. Budget water. Have 3 pairs of undies, 1 on, 2 off, and I wash them as I go. 1 other pair of socks, also walking socks, but I will wear those at camp and at night until the triumphant last day. A couple of buffs which are useful for wearing and also just to have around as nice pieces of cloth, useful pieces of cloth. A merino top, similar to the one I'm wearing. Some merino long johns for camp and sleeping, and a big woolly jumper. Because I am a woman of a certain age, I have found that I can't wear synthetics very much at all. I feel as though when I have a hot flush, I'm wearing and encased and entrapped in a plastic bag, and it's a horrible feeling. So natural fibres for everything that I possibly can, and that's not a bad thing in its own way. My shoes are Mindel shoes. They're a wide fitting, and I have to say they're the most comfortable ones I've ever had. They're about 2 years old now and starting to die, but they've been fantastic. So for cooking, I do take a small gas canister and a little stove. This is the MSR Pocket Rocket. I take a little stand so that it doesn't fall over on rough ground. And even though this does have an ignition lighter on switch on it, over the past 3 years that's begun to fail a little bit, so I take a fire steel to light the stove if need be. So on to food. And to be honest, I don't really want to cook very much when I'm out on my walks. For the past 30 years I've been cooking meals for the family most nights, so I tend to view my walks as an escape from that, and I take some backup things which I'll show you, but I plan my walks definitely around places to stop and eat if I can, and I carry supplies for maximum 1 or 2 days. I love walking in the English countryside for that very reason. However, a few backups. So I take some bulgur wheat with me and some cuppa soups. Those are good, actually. I prefer that to the dehydrated meals that you can get. I also take a little pot of drinking chocolate and a bit of coffee added in, and that can be quite nice in the mornings or when I stop for a break. But that's kind of it. Bring on the tea shops, I say. Visit the cafes, find that morning coffee. So I decided I really like the taste of water coming out of a nice stainless steel bottle. It's not the lightest, but I don't care. I really like it, so I take it. And a water filter. This has been very useful, so a good bit of kit. I always take that with me. So for toiletries, well, being a lady of a certain age, there are some things I don't have to worry about. What a pleasure that is. So one of those, one of these, one of those. This, very, very useful and important for chafing, for all sorts of other things. It's a key piece of kit. I take a hat with me to suit the season, either winter and gloves or a sun hat, or sometimes both, who knows. So for electrical things, head torch. This is not the lightest version, but ever so useful. It comes with me on every walk, obviously. Plug and the right cable for the phone that you need. And I take with me an Anker charger. This is one of those that will charge my phone about 5 times. It's quite heavy, but it's invaluable. So that's my electric kit. I don't take anything more than that, and I film on my phone at the moment, so that's all I need. So I take a smaller purse or wallet than my usual one, and just put in there, basic cards and things that I need. That lightens things a bit. Take a flannel. I don't like the feel of camping towels and things, so I use that. This is my very small, very minimal first aid kit. Tiny nail scissors, some painkillers, one very important bit of kit, tick remover, and quite a lot of plasters and blister packs and so on, some needle and thread, some safety pins. That's very minimal and is fine for just walking in the sort of English countryside between villages. If I was going somewhere a bit more rugged and outward bound, I would think again about what I was taking. Recently, I have finally decided not to take paper maps with me. However, I have all the OS maps on my phone, so long as the phone is working, that is fine. I usually take a guidebook. Sometimes I take the map part, sometimes not. On the South Downs Way, I just took this part. It was actually quite nice of a night in my tent to read up about where I was going the next day. Obviously on a national trail with very good signage, that's fine. You don't really have many opportunities to get lost. But if I was going somewhere a bit wilder or on a path that was less well marked, I would probably take a paper map as a backup as well. All of that fits into my 35-litre low alpine rucksack, and it weighs about 10 to 11 kilograms. With food and water, definitely about 11 kilograms. With food all eaten up and not much water, maybe about 9 kilograms. I hope that's been helpful. Everyone has their own kit preferences, their own weight preferences and so on. This has just been mine. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. And otherwise, I wish you happy walking on your next outing.